I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, Velocities in Music, here to do our 139th episode, 4th tonight in Caesar. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Our new studio, we like it. Jack Johnson's 2010 just came out in the middle of May, just about a month and a half ago, To the Sea. His first blatant reference to his career when he was younger as being a professional surfer in Hawaii. Tom, you love Jack Johnson.
Yes, I do.
Why don't you just go nuts and tell him about Jack Johnson? This is his 5th album. He's quite prolific in the 2000s because it's all been in the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, Jack Johnson, he is a very multi-talented figure in pop culture in general, because not only is he a musician, he's also a filmmaker, and he's done some soundtracks for his films and surfing, and he just kind of does it all. So pretty much any multimedia you can think of, and then surfing, he has some experience in. And I know that he gets bashed on by critics a lot. And
not this time.
No, this is actually this album has actually gotten better reviews than all of his other albums, which is really strange to me. Because,
well, and Sleep Through the Static got good reviews too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, better than On and On and not Brushfire Fairy Tales, In Between Dreams, I guess.
70s on Metacritic. That's good. I mean, that's respectable.
Yeah, whereas the two I named had like upper 50s.
Upper 50s, yeah. Oh yeah, upper 50s.
So, yeah, he really is kind of, you like him or you don't for the most part. It's very just mellow, acoustic pop music. Not even as much, there goes my sump pump, not even as much folk, just kind of acoustic pop. You don't get a lot of the real folk in there. So anyone who tells you that is really leading you down the path of disappointment, because then you're probably going to try to blame it on Jack Johnson and say, this guy's not real folk. Well, I don't think he really claims to be.
No.
Some people just falsely put that name on him.
Yeah, right.
It's acoustic pop is what it is, and he's very good at it. He has this kind of soft, whispery voice, but at the same time, he can rock out every now and then. And this album is it's weird because it's really, when it comes down to it, it's really nothing new for Jack Johnson, but it's not consistent with what old stuff of his it references, if that makes any sense. And what I mean by that is I feel like half of these songs sound a lot like Sleeping Through the Static, and half these songs sound a lot like In Between Dreams.
Oh yeah, just take everything I was going to say.
Really?
Everything. No, that's fine, keep going.
I didn't read your notes, I promise. But what I mean by that is, if you're not too familiar with his past discography, I mean, Brushfire Fairy Tales was a little all over the place, but it was more mellow, more sad, introspective than anything. I mean, he had lyrics that were actually asking a question, actually trying to bring up some ethical questions about culture and life in general. You listen to like the song Posters or the song The News. Where he said, why don't the newscasters cry when they read about people who die? Yeah, it's kind of hippie, but at the same time, he's trying to make the listener ask themselves a question about life. I don't get that a lot from this album. I don't.
Because that was some of the charm.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that he was able to go from something like that on Brushfire Fairy Tales to something about just playing mud football with the guys, yet still in that song, while it's upbeat and it's happier, he asks still a very important ethical question, or not ethical, but more just about life, the way you live your life. Makes you think about it.
Yeah.
You don't get as much of that. It's more just for the mood, but the mood changes so much from those songs that are kind of quiet and soft and kind of sad to these ones that are just upbeat and in your face poppy jam out. So it's
not as charming, but at the same time, it's not different enough from them to be something that's good. And if I can jump in, I want to ream some critics here, because this is getting the best reviews a Jack Johnson album has gotten. Here's what I think. I think that all you critics out there have wanted to, like, in our closet Jack Johnson fans, and have been for a good many years in the 2000s. And I think that you finally have an album where he's not spinning pop culture, or, you know, this is his weakest album. I really do feel like this is his weakest he's put out.
Yeah, I think it probably is.
You know,
I still like it, but that's just because I like the style and he does it well. But there's not a lot behind it.
His first three, you know, he was doing some, damn near. I mean, he was giving this Hawaiian twist, you know, that kind of beach-esque feel twist on just, you know, that acoustic pop genre, and it worked. And what Tom was talking about with all the lyrics and that charm that he had there, those first three albums, Brushfire Fairy Tales, On, and In Between Dreams, all kind of took a different spin on that and were really solid albums. And you know, and then he decided in 2008, he decided to change it up. It was 2008, right?
Yes. Beginning of 2008.
Yep. He put out Sleep Through the Static, which used electric guitar more so than ever before, and it was much more down, much more, you know, minor key.
Yeah.
And kind of a new turn for him.
I think that album, a lot of it was inspired by like the death of a family member.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can hear it a lot when you listen to it.
Well, and he let that come out in his music. Now, the interview I got posted down there, and even the music video for the first track, You and Your Heart, he just doesn't seem like he's that excited about being alive, which is not the vibe you get from most of his previous albums in the music. And what I think, I really do think that he's almost just like he had done Sleep Through the Static and he wanted to get back to what he had done before, but yet he's still depressed. He's still down about whatever he was down about on that album.
Which is interesting because my brother John, who's been on the show for Eminem episode Relapse, he saw Jack Johnson live and he said it was one of the most like uplifting, feel-good experiences. Like, Jack Johnson just seemed to love being up there. Like, he was just, as if he was just playing for his friends, but he was really playing for thousands of people. Mm-hmm. So, I think it's strange that you can get that from a live show more but so than an album.
To the album.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really felt that, I agree with you, a lot of these songs felt like B-sides of Sleep Through the Static. I don't know if that's what you were calling them, that's what I'm calling them. Just...
No, that's not what I said, but yeah, it's
more fleshed out versions of them, and there's some references to old work. There's also some ditties in here that underdeveloped songs that I think just made it onto the album. A lot of this album just feels underdeveloped, rough around the edges, not very polished. And in all honesty, I think it's his weakest album, as I said, and I don't know why critics are liking this one, honestly. I mean, especially, I think it's flip-flop. I think they should be liking his early work and then kind of none questioning this.
Yeah, it just seemed more genuine back then, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I was very disappointed. When I think of Jack Johnson, I'm not ever going to think, let's listen to The Sea. Never will I think that. There's not one track on here that just makes me go, I want to listen to that. Not one. Now, I have a couple track picks, but only two, and... other than that, they all kind of just bleed together, you know? I don't know.
Pick your two.
Well, I like You in Your Heart. I think that's a solid single. He said that his friends picked that out, which I thought was cool. And then I like the guitar part in track 8, but I really decided that what the song I really like is 10, Red Wine, Mistakes, and Mythology. That has a really cool... It's a sweet guitar part, and it reminds me of old school Jack Johnson, but I still feel like that song's underdeveloped. Like, it could have been something more than what it is, and it's just, it didn't get that finished, really want to go out there and get it Jack Johnson touch.
I like track 3, No Good With Faces. Let's see, track 9, The Upsetter. That's one of the more In Between Dreams-ish songs, but it's got this awesome 7 jam out, and you know. And then track 12, Anything But the Truth, I thought was a really good, more sentimental song.
I really want to comment on something. There's one song on here that I hated, and I still hate, and I get mad when I listen to it. It's track 11, Pictures of People Taking Pictures. But then he goes, pictures of people taking pictures of people taking pictures of people, and it just goes on. But you could tell, like, he couldn't care less about the subject matter. Like, it just doesn't work. And the song is just annoying as hell. And the lyrics are just god-awful.
Yeah.
I'm gonna think about this for a second, so if you know what you're gonna give it, go ahead.
You know what? I think I'm just gonna give it an even 70. Because I still like it. I still think, especially the guitar is really good, as you'd expect from Jack Johnson. Not as good as before. But, I mean, like, 70 is a good score. At the same time, though, I mean, most Jack Johnson stuff I would give in the upper 70s to lower 90s. So, I think this is a little bit of a step down, but it's still alright.
Well, for me, I don't think that... I mean, in the what I see in a 90-plus album, I don't think any of Jack Johnson's work, just in scope, could make it up there. He could hit 80 for me, but I think this one parks it at like 62. There's some rough things here. This is not finished in my opinion. I don't think music's ever finished. We should do a Velocities episode on that. I think songs are always in the works and that the album is just a snapshot. And that's why, seeing where that is at that time when you get those really polished songs, I don't know. Random philosophy there. But I just feel like this kind of misses, like trips on a step or something. Like, it's just not quite there. It's still some good tunes, fairly enjoyable, but just doesn't have the soul that I'm looking for. What do you think about Jack Johnson and this whole new downturn of kind of mood? I mean, if his concerts are uplifting but his albums are down, what does that mean for you as a fan? Because there's a lot of fans of Jack Johnson out there. Where do you want to see him go? And why? Let us know. Leave us a comment at www.velocitiesinmusic.com on the Jack Johnson page. More to come from this guy, I'm sure, because he's just doing what he loves, writing music, living in Hawaii. I don't blame the guy. Sounds like a pretty good life to me.
Yeah.
So we'll probably get to another one of his albums before it's all said and done. I'm Jake!
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.
Oh, come on.